Hey Bucket Pond family, welcome back to the channel. Today I am out here in the Swamp Shack and we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a product review on this thing right here. Now what is this, you may ask? Well, this is meant for use in the kitchen. This is a flavor injector and it's meant to inject various sauces and marinades. But I like to use these for a whole other purpose. It turns out that they are perfect for our Nano Aquarium projects. It's very easy to get down into a jar, take a sample of your paramecium or your ostracods, and inject them into a new tank. It works out very well. So before we get started with actually using the item, I want to tell you a little bit about it. I got this one from Publix, but it looks like this exact same model is available from a number of different stores and different websites online. This particular model has a very nice clear cylinder that allows you to see firsthand all of the little animals that we capture when we take a sample. And it looks good. It's fun to play with. It looks very nice, very clean, futuristic-like. It's also very easy to clean, as the entire thing will disassemble, just like so. The plunger will come out. The tip can be easily removed, and you can clear everything out with a water hose. Maybe soak it, maybe clean it in another way. But that works fine. And it's a lot like a large hypodermic needle. Don't play with needles, of course. But that gives you the basic idea of how it functions. Now, I did have to make one slight modification to this device, and I had to cut the tip off. Usually, these come with a very sharp needle tip on the end for injections. But instead, we want to use this in a different way, so we cut the tip off to make a nice blunt opening, being careful not to crush the tip as well. And though it does have some metal parts, I'm sure that they are food safe and they should not have any ill effects on our microfauna or our jar aquariums in general. There we go. These can also be used for wild collecting. And in fact, I would love to have like a holster for maybe a dozen of them, like a gun belt or something. But they are great because you can get down into the muck and the mud and take a sample directly from there, if that's what you want to do. And you can get a good idea of what you captured right away, instead of taking a jar, getting a rough scoop of water, and hoping for the best. So I love these little things. I'm going to show you how to use it here on a few of our nano tanks, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we go. Alright guys, forgive me for the long intro. This is my first real product review video, so I wanted to cover the details on this item. But here we have a brand new injector, fresh from Publix, ready to go. And we're going to do a bit of maintenance on a few of our experimental bladder snail containers. More details on these in a future video. But they have been overwhelmed by green water algae, which was not expected. And I find it very interesting that the center jar has a much different color to its green water. But we're going to assemble our injector and modify it slightly. Then we're going to add some microfauna samples to each one of these containers, hopefully to beat back that green water algae a little bit. We'll also add some more plants as well. There is the needle point injector. We don't need that needle tip, and I don't like it. It's kind of sharp. So we're going to cut that off, and there we go. You can use a pair of tin snips or maybe even some scissors if they're particularly sharp. Be careful not to crush the end of the needle point there. You may have to open it up a little bit with a nail or something like that. But our green water containers, they were not meant to be green. So we're going to remove about 100 milliliters of water from each jar, and we'll save that for later. But we need to make a little room inside for our incoming samples. And I like the way that this injector looks with the green water. Lately I've had green water showing up all over in my different containers and stuff. If you struggle to culture this stuff, then please watch my channel. You'll see it's actually very easy and very easily done accidentally as well. But our injector looks very nice, and again, you can see right through it. It does have the measurements for milliliters and ounces. And each one of these jars needs to lose a little bit of water. to make room for the samples that we're going to add. Now, these jars are experimental projects. I have to be very careful not to inject any extra bladder snails in here, or eggs or anything like that. But the sample I am pulling from is all ostracods and detritus worms. The very large ostracods that we've seen in some of our recent videos. And there's also a single fly moth larva in there, which we'll have to remove with the injector. I hate fly moths. I hate them. They're such a problem. We've been beating them with more lids on our containers and more careful setups, but still they show up occasionally. They're really a problem for jars that do not have fish. But that is a subject for another video. Our pipette does look great though. You can see our small worms, our detritus worms, and our tubiflex, as well as some of our ostracods in these samples. And I like that a lot. Previously we were using a turkey baster, which, while very cheap, it was $1, and effective. It was not perfect. You know, we could not see inside of the samples. We couldn't tell exactly what we were removing or capturing. There we go. Now the injector does drip a little bit with that tip cut off. I'm sure there's a way to fix that, or just keep your hand off of the plunger. Either way. And I like to take a little bit of the water from the tank I'm using to kind of rinse it as I'm doing these sample replacements here. We're going to add a single piece of dayflower to each one of these jars to help cut back on the green water algae. These are experimental projects set up to test different effects of environmental pressures on bladder snails breeding and life cycles, I guess you would say. We'll talk about this in a future video. For now, we're just doing a little maintenance and showing off our new pipette. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to top these guys up, and we'll throw the lid back on there, and then we'll take the injector outside and do some local wild collecting. Yeah, we'll take some samples from the oasis. I love these little containers, by the way. Our Patreon's paid for these, and I am very grateful. Thank you so much. I would do a product review on them, but I can't seem to find any more in the store. Yeah, it seems like it was a one-time thing. Here's our injector with some of our best green water. I think it looks so cool. You know, you feel like some kind of mad scientist or something with these green water samples in this way. I just can't help it. It's a lot of fun to play with these things. Be very careful with the needle tip, or the pointed end, of course. But otherwise, they are very interesting. And it is a useful tool. Excuse me, I stuttered a bit there. You guys may notice that sometimes I do speak funny a little bit. I grew up with a slight speech impediment, as well as a strange mutation or defect to my tongue. So, yeah, we talk a little bit about genetics here on the channel, a little bit about, different effects, and yeah, I'm a mutant too, so there you go. But we're taking the injector outdoors now to our large terrarium out here, which you guys may have seen on the Spring Oasis update. And just an example of how easily you can see through the cylinder and you can see the samples inside. Lots of our tubiflex worms in here, and lots of paramecium, a few copepods as well. And we're going to bring them right over here to our brand new pool pond, which you can find a video about this project on the channel as well. We've been very busy out here. You'll have to forgive me for that lapse in videos, but I'm back on track, so yeah. Alright guys, that's the new DIY pipette flavor injector video. I hope that you enjoyed this. Remember, this is not paid promotion. I'm only doing this to help you, to show you a nice nifty tool that I wish I had known about years ago. Don't pay more than maybe 10 bucks for one of these, as they can vary online between $7 to $10 to $15. So remember, 10 bucks is your limit. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're watching up to this point, you most likely did, so thank you so much. If you have any tips for useful tools and things that we can use around our various projects, please let me know in the comments. But that's it for now. Thank you to our Patreon supporters and our YouTube members. Changing things up a little bit, we're going to do it like a credit list in a movie, because you guys are working behind the scenes to support Bucket Ponds, to keep us going, to keep me all hyped up and excited, and I thank you very much. And to everyone else watching the video, thank you as well. So I have more videos on my channel. Recently we did a new pool pond, which came out very nice. And I have plenty of other videos on there as well. So please check it out, Bucket Ponds, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.